Excellencies, honored guests, alumni, members of the faculty and staff, candidates for degrees, and friends. President Peter Dorman, I declare that this 146th commencement of the American University of Beirut is to be now assembled and in session for the purpose of the day.
Your Excellencies, Board of Trustees, AUB faculty, distinguished guests, families, friends, and especially the graduating class of 2015. I'd like to welcome all of you to the undergraduate commencement ceremony of the American University of Beirut. My name is Philip Khoury, and I speak as chairman of the AUB Board of Trustees. As we recognize and celebrate the achievements of our undergraduates, it is also fitting that we should commemorate the 8th and final commencement proceedings of President Peter Dorman. President Dorman has led AUB with distinction since 2008. As a result of his leadership, today, the American University of Beirut is academically stronger, more dynamic, and more ambitious than ever before. The achievements of the Dorman administration are many. Today, AUB is ranked 249th globally in the QS World Rankings, up from 500 8 years ago, and placing AUB in the top 10% of universities worldwide. AUB's academic and medical programs continue to receive prestigious new accreditations, many of them unique in the region. Our faculty produce more than twice the research output of all other Lebanese universities combined. Our financial aid program has more than tripled, enabling us to attract and support the highest caliber students from around Lebanon and the region. The medical center is expanding and undergoing its most dramatic transformation in 50 years, and more than 100 physicians have been recruited from overseas in this period. Many new facilities for engineering, medicine, international affairs, and public policy are transforming our campus. The university is once again a hub of the thriving regional art scene, with 2 new galleries and a major new collection of modern Lebanese art. With President Dorman's leadership, AUB has raised more than $350 million in grants and donations for teaching and research, scholarships, facilities, and medical care. All this is but a fraction of what Peter Dorman's presidency has meant to AUB. Leading a university is more than a list of accomplishments. It requires a combination of skills, of character, of teamwork. And Peter Dorman's fine character is known to all. His patience, his moral fortitude, and his utter lack of vanity. He has served this university with honor and humility. We all strive to be good and virtuous people, but few of us are as uncompromising in this respect as is Peter Dorman. As our president, in every interaction, he has been unfailingly gracious, attentive, and engaged. He has always been available to greet enthusiastic students, meet with alumni, engage faculty members and staff, meet and thank donors, great and small, visit with patients at the AUBMC, sit with grieving AUB faculty families after the loss of a loved one, and shake hands with every university security guard he meets. Everywhere he went, someone had an AUB story that they wanted to share with him, and he has always listened, not only out of respect, but also out of interest, genuine interest. Peter Dorman has known that as president, he embodies the brand and reputation of this university, and that each of these interactions matter. The Arab world needs leaders and institutions that inspire hope. Realizing this, Peter Dorman's goal has been to consolidate and reinforce the values at the core of AUB's mission: a liberal arts identity, a tolerant and safe environment for intellectual discourse, reinforcement of personal ethical conduct, support for high-quality teaching, research, and medical practice, and enabling talented students to get the best possible education in this region. In all of these areas, we have made huge strides, and it is for these reasons that AUB's role as a force for positive change in the region continues to grow. Peter, you brought the finest personal qualities to the presidency of AUB: integrity, intelligence, loyalty, and a genuine concern for others. You are a gentleman in the very best sense of that word. We thank you. We thank you, and we wish you and Kathy all the best as you begin a new chapter in your lives. Now, before I invite Peter Dorman up to the podium to formally begin the proceedings of this ceremony, I also want to acknowledge that with us today on the stage is Dr. Fadlo Rajahouri. Fadlo, would you stand up? Fadlo is an alumni trustee, but more importantly, in 3 short months, he will become AUB's 16th president, succeeding Dr. Dorman. Now, let's hear from Peter Dorman.
There we go. Chairman Houri, thanks for those extremely kind words. I am deeply touched, and leading the university for the last good number of years has been really one of the great honors and pleasures of my life in every way. Your Excellencies, members of the AUB Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, friends, and especially the class of 2015. مساء الخير وأهلا وسهلا فيكم. يسعدني ويشرفني أن أرحب بكم في مناسبة انتظرتموها جميعا لسنوات طويلة. إنها مناسبة تخرج صف عام 2015. En outre, je tiens également à souhaiter une chaleureuse bienvenue à nos élèves et à leurs familles de la culture francophone, qui a ajouté une dimension de telle richesse à la vie culturelle au Liban et qui a joué un rôle précieux dans la diversité de notre campus. It is my sincere pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all of you to the 146th celebration of commencement at AUB as the university awards degrees to 1,473 students receiving undergraduate degrees. For all of the members of this marvelous class, I offer my warmest congratulations, for you are the beneficiaries of a university education that is second to none in the Middle East. The diplomas you are about to receive will do more than simply certify that you have completed a degree in the program of your choice. behind each diploma lie the history and the stature of one of the greatest international universities in the world. Behind each diploma lie the universal values that are nurtured on this campus: diversity, freedom of thought, inclusiveness, and sustainability. Behind each diploma lie historic generations of men and women who have left their significant mark in the world and whose ranks you are about to join. Before we move to the speakers of the day, I wish to acknowledge an extraordinary individual who will be stepping down from his administrative post this summer. Provost Ahmed Dalal, will you please rise? In only a few words, it is truly impossible to quantify or describe the contributions that Provost Dalal has made to AUB during his 6 years in post, or the extent of his dedication to this university. As Chief Academic Officer, he has advocated the highest standards of excellence for teaching and research, recruiting new faculty of regional and global reputation and potential. He has greatly enhanced the rigor of our faculty departments and centers while championing the cause of interdisciplinary research and inquiry in areas that are central to social and environmental needs. Provost Dalal is also the main author of AUB's strategic academic plan and has overseen multiple accreditations for the university and its programs. It is often the prerogative for a president to take credit for the achievements of a provost, and in fact, several of the things Chairman Khoury has mentioned are very much in the hands of Ahmed Dalal and his marvelous faculty. The fact that AUB produces twice as much research, the fact that we rank now 249 in the world among 12,000 universities, these are achievements of the Provost Office and of our very distinguished faculty. The Provost Office has also generated policies that support academic excellence, improve the student experience, facilitate academic governance and administration, and promote ethics. He is a man of great personal integrity and values, and he will be very much missed. Please join me in offering our gratitude and appreciation to Provost Dalal. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the student speakers for commencement. First will be the Vice President of the University Student Faculty Committee, Issam Shmaitali, a candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Engineering in Civil Engineering from the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture.
I hope you guys don't mind. I'd really like to take a picture first. All right, thank you. Your Excellencies, honored members of the Board of Trustees, President Dorman, President-elect Khoury, esteemed deans, distinguished faculty, families, fellow graduates, good evening. My name is Issam Shmaitali, and I represent one of the many voices of this graduating class of 2015. As I look across the green field on this glorious day, I can see our parents' radiant smiles as their eyes fill with tears of pride and joy. Our parents have been there for us since day one, and were it not for their hard work and devotion, none of us would be here today. So, on the behalf of the class of 2015, I'd like to thank each and every one of you. I still find it hard to believe that our days at the American University of Beirut have come to an end. A bit less than 4 years ago, I got out of a car, carried my bags, and headed towards the dorm's reception desk. I signed in, got my keys, and went up to my assigned room. As I opened the door of the room, I felt that my AUB journey had begun. Little did I know that the next 4 years would sum up to be a blissful experience which I will never forget. AUB offers the highest level of education any student might attain in the region. It also provides its students with a space of self-expression, as we have witnessed a significant amount of social and cultural activism on campus. I still remember most of the several classes that I attended, all across campus, and a couple of those that I skipped. I will miss the many overnights spent in Jaffet Library preparing for my final exams, the countless hours spent in Bechtel, and our relentless quarrels at Maine discussing many topics which range from philosophy to economy and politics. Some things that should not be left unmentioned are the various activities offered by AUB, in which I took part of, such as the election of student representatives, the AUB rally paper, AUB outdoors, and the Civil Engineering Society camp, only to name a few. AUB has allowed me to grow, not only on an intellectual level, but certainly on a cultural and social scale. It has made me realize that we, the youth, should honor ourselves and our work. We should never let anyone trace our decisions or dictate our lives. We have succeeded in our educational journey, and now our lifelong journey of hard work, perseverance, and determination awaits us. We will not let failure define us or our future, but we shall always rise and strive for victory and triumph. With passion, courage of conviction, and self-worth, we take our step into the world. Tonight, we assure what is stated in our alma mater, AUB, in thee we glory. As we celebrate our graduation, proud of the success we've achieved, and knowing that the best is yet to come. Class of 2015, it gives me great honor to stand here before you all and finally say, we made it. Congratulations. Now there's a small part in Arabic. أيها الحفل الكريم، إنه لشرف لي أن أكون خطيبا بينكم في هذه المناسبة العظيمة، ممثلا خريجي الجامعة الأمريكية في بيروت لهذه السنة. إنه لشرف لي أن أكون خطيبا بينكم بحضور والدي العزيزين، أمي، أبي، أنتما فخري واعتزازي، عماد نجاحي. ها نحن اليوم وبعد طول انتظار نتخرج من أعرق جامعة في الشرق الأوسط، وما كنا لنصبح ما نحن عليه في هذه الليلة لولا أساتذتنا الكرام الذين نتوجه إليهم بأحر الشكر والإخلاص. أما بعد، ومن هذا الصرح الأكاديمي العريق نؤكد وعن سابق تجربة بأن هذه الجامعة بالإضافة إلى كونها بيت معرفة هي مدرسة ريادة، فنرى بأن السنوات التي عشناها في هذا الحرم قد نحتت شخصياتنا لتصبح عملا فنيا من الدرجة الأولى، ونرى بأن الشباب لم يفشل بتأدية واجبه الحراكي على صعيد الوطن والجامعة. خلال السنوات السابقة لبى الطلاب عامة وطلاب الجامعة الأمريكية خاصة نداء المجتمع، فنزلوا إلى الساحات وتظاهروا وأثبتوا عن عزم وإصرار بالمضي قدما بالبلد والجامعة نحو الأفضل. خلال العقد الماضي رفض طلاب الجامعة الأمريكية الظلم فاحتجوا شيء غلط واحتجوا وأضربوا عدة مرات وبعدة أساليب رفضا لسياسات داخلية كانت أم خارجية رأوها على أنها غير محقة. ومن هنا أدعوكم إلى الاستمرار بالنهج الذي اتبعناه في جامعتنا. يتوجب علينا نحن الشباب المثقف خيرة مجتمعنا أن نؤكد أننا على مقدار المسؤولية وأن نمضي قدما باتجاه أحلامنا ورؤيتنا للبنان والأمة العربية والعالم. فكما قال الرئيس الشهيد رفيق الحريري: الشباب لا يجوز أن ييأس، وممنوع عليه اليأس، لأن الشباب هو المستقبل وأنتم مستقبل لبنان. عشتم وعاشت الجامعة الأمريكية في بيروت. وشكرا.
And now it's my pleasure to introduce the second student speaker for tonight, Georges Debes, a candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Landscape Architecture and Diploma of Ingénieur Agricole from the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences.
Thank you, President Dorman. Your Excellencies, honored members of the Board of Trustees, President Dorman, our newly elected President Khoury, deans, distinguished faculty members, parents, guests, and my fellow peers, I stand before you all in utter disbelief that the person I was 4 years ago could have made it this far. Perhaps a bit of a backstory is needed to clarify the significance of my presence here on this stage. The person I was before my university experience might surprise some of you. Back in school, I was never a top student. I lacked social etiquette, and public speaking was always a struggle. And my grades reflected the demeaned self-worth I'd set up for myself. Back then, my achievements were few. But my dreams were big, and certainly plentiful. Today, standing here before this splendid community, my achievements are plentiful, and my dreams are even bigger. When I applied to join our honorable institution, as my three brothers did before me, I had set my intentions. I'm going to study, be happy with what I study, and then graduate and live happily ever after. Little did I know that what seemed to be the next logical step in achieving my educational ambitions was actually a lot less of an academic strategy and a lot more of a personal journey of awakening. Along this quest, I've discovered who I really am, and that my potential for growth transcends anyone else's opinion of my abilities. The community at AUB, and more specifically at my own faculty, the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences, is a testimony in itself that no matter what the conditions, with a steady vision, we can create an environment for learning and prosperity. Throughout my 4 years here, I've had the privilege of studying the successful habits of my professors, and have also worked alongside a community of students whom I proudly call my newfound family, #Landies for Life. Apart from the wealth of professional knowledge I have amassed during my time at the university, there are a few valuable realizations I have come to. Through my struggles and my triumphs, I've realized that there are 3 components successful people need to internalize to manifest their visions. 1, a vast library of inspiration, be it through empowering books, wise mentors, or friends and companions who energize you into inspired action. A mastermind of like-minded individuals is one of the keys to achieving your goals and helping them achieve theirs. 2, a deep connection to your intrinsic guidance system. This is your gauge, your internal compass. Really, there's no doing without this. It is the inner voice that has your best intentions at heart. Only by aligning with this unique expression can you experience the epiphany of true happiness and fulfillment. And 3, the secret ingredient, a healthy dose of negativity. This is the contrast, or for the economists among us, this is the counterfactual. It is the clarifying tool we can use to refine exactly what we don't want to happen and thus clearly illustrate what we do want to happen. Most people try to block out negativity. They consider it a threat to their visions of abundance. I found that the most successful people use these negative experiences and thoughts to rekindle their original life's purpose, why they chose this path to begin with. To every naysayer, to every oppressor, to every disbeliever and dream crusher, I thank you. You fueled the fire in hopes of leaving me with scars. But the only scars you see are the tracks I've left as I've blazed my way to where I stand. A dear mentor of mine once shared with me a quote by Napoleon Hill which said, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and bring itself to believe, it can achieve." So let me correct my introductory statement. I stand before you all in utter belief of the sheer power and ability we each have as individuals to make our dreams and aspirations come true. I hope, through the spirit that this university has instilled within each of you, that you challenge your fears and gather the courage to stand up and claim your own voice and use it to better our country, our region, and the entire world. It's been done before by people who have sat in these very seats before you, so why not you? Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, champions, let's make it happen. Thank you.
And now I invite President Dorman to the podium to deliver tonight's commencement address.
Dear graduates of the class of 2015, this is a very special day, full of excitement and anticipation for you and your families, but it is also mingled with a touch of poignancy and sadness on account of classmates whom you've befriended and whom you may not see again for a long time. So as you sit here politely and probably with some impatience for the passing out of degrees, I would only ask you to pause for a moment and reflect on this particular moment of time as it passes by. Today is a moment when the past meets the future. The past is easier to reflect on. You know very well where you have come from and why you enrolled at AUB. First and foremost, your parents probably wanted you here. I hope you came happily and willingly. But now a new phase will be opening up for you, and after all, the real purpose of a degree is to certify young men and women in specialties that meets the demands of the marketplace outside the campus walls. The future is more difficult to anticipate. With the galloping pace of technology, communication, and globalized economies, it is ever more likely that graduates these days will spend their lives not in a single career, but they will hold different jobs that will offer them different challenges. It is harder to predict where the future will take you in your life journeys. You may have a degree in one field, but will probably discover applications in another. The galloping pace of modern life is not a new phenomenon. Almost 80 years ago, in 1937, the French poet and philosopher Paul Valéry observed, "L'avenir est comme le reste, il n'est plus ce qu'il était." The future is like everything else. It is no longer what it used to be. By that I mean we can no longer think of it with any confidence in our predictions. But tonight is the night when your future begins. Especially in the context of today's troubled Middle East, the greatest strength of AUB lies not just in its unsurpassed professional training. It is AUB's commitment to a broad-based education in which students are exposed to the ways the human mind seeks after knowledge in many different fields of inquiry. This is the liberal arts foundation, which by itself offers no guarantee of a specific career, but instead possibilities for many. In fact, you didn't sign up to major in the liberal arts. No one does, but it crept up on you nonetheless. For example, you know that the natural sciences are grounded in a methodology that is evidence-based and evidence-driven. Scientific method is grounded in stated hypotheses that can be demonstrated or disproved through experiments. Results must be repeatable to establish proof, and the scientific method is highly rewarding and measurable. Year after year, knowledge demonstrably grows along with humankind's technical capabilities. The 20th century has seen the development of space flight and atomic power, the theory of relativity, the discovery of DNA, the validation of the theory of evolution, and in vitro fertilization. Last year alone, the existence of the Higgs boson was proved. And shortly after there, a little-known instructor at the University of New Hampshire proved a conclusive argument showing the twin prime conjecture in mathematics, which may have been first put forward by Euclid of Alexandria in 300 BC. So it appears that we waited 23 centuries for that proof. Just as vital, though, from your studies at AUB, you also understand that advances in science raise other questions that touch on ethical assumptions and social behavior. The way we live or choose to live is always impacted by new advances in technology and science that alter our perception of the world. Our species hasn't done so well in that respect. The greatest disasters of the 20th century include 2 devastating world wars, dozens of regional conflicts, genocide, persistent poverty, and extremist ideological movements. These may be thought of as failures of the humanistic sphere, failures that have been aggravated by deep chasms of willful misunderstanding and closed minds that we cannot seem to eradicate, as well as prejudice based on the characterization of other groups of people as somehow untouchable other. Current events close to us here in the MENA region, but elsewhere in the world, and I certainly include the United States, give us daily examples of these catastrophic failures. The future is unpredictable and complex in ways we don't fully understand. These problems of human relationships are centuries old, and they are immune to scientific proof. There is no upward path of progress we can happily trace. These problems require the painful relearning of old lessons by every generation. By its nature, humanistic inquiry asks big questions that have no definitive answers, or they have multiple correct answers, and every generation must supply its own. The world is a rapidly changing place, and the future isn't what it used to be. But I'm encouraged by the thought that all of you graduates have the ability to conduct simultaneous conversations about both calculus and the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a span of artistry and science that covers about 4,500 years of human history and achievement. And that is why we are convened on this field tonight, in recognition that you are not just graduates of engineering or arts and sciences or business or nursing. You are shortly to become alumni of AUB with abilities and gifts that bind you together in common knowledge and experience, and that far exceed the narrow definitions of your degree. Your depth and breadth of understanding in these very different approaches of science and the humanities encompass the richness and true value of your AUB diploma. But another component is Lebanon itself. As most of you know, I was born at the American University Hospital and spent my childhood in this country. My father grew up in a sort of post-Victorian tradition. He was deeply interested in every aspect of the natural world, and he involved all of us in his pursuits. Our family would pass every summer in the mountain town of Shimlan. We would spend hours collecting plant samples and pressing them, mounting them and labeling them and in both their common and Latin names. We would seek out banks of colored sandstone and fill glass bottles in different patterns of red and orange and purple sand. By night, we would scan the heavens with a telescope and memorize the names of stars and constellations, many of which have Arabic names. My father knew where we could find hillsides where loose shale would mark the location of fossils lifted millennia ago from the seabed, and we would hunt for shark's teeth, the hardest fossil of all to find. He would take us to Nahr el-Kelb, just south of Jounieh, where the river pours into the sea below a rocky headland that blocks the coastal road. In ancient times, a narrow path was the only access around this headland, and passing armies carved successive records of their conquests into the rock. The earliest stela at Nahr el-Kelb belongs to Ramses II, carved over 32 centuries ago. The next is Esarhaddon of Syria, some 500 years later, then Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, followed by the Greeks and Romans, the Ottomans, Napoleon III, leading all the way up to the independence of Lebanon. In this country, biology, geology, and history are literally carved in the land. AUB is an indelible part of Lebanon and has a specific place in each of us here present. Lebanon is a trilingual civilization, fluent in Arabic, English, and French, that looks both east and west. Thanks to this diversity, it is culturally and historically more advantaged than any country in terms of its size in the world. Lebanon has its challenges, to be sure, sometimes electricity, but we all partake of its unique heritage. After commencement this evening, you will have a chance to reflect on your years at AUB by the challenges that made you grow, by those classmates that you hold dear, and by those teachers who inspired you, as well as to your own connection to Lebanon. And perhaps in years to come, you will also find that part of your own history has been carved into this land as well. Along with you, I will also be reflecting on my years as president of AUB and a son of Lebanon, grateful for having known so many of you gathered here tonight, in the sure knowledge that your personal journeys will lead you to enriching and rewarding joys, for tonight is a moment when the past meets the future for all of us. Yogi Berra, former baseball manager of the New York Yankees and author of The Unwitting en mots, once said, "If you don't know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else." These days, even if you do think you know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else. The world has become a fluid and entrepreneurial and infinitely varied workplace. Are you ready for it? I believe you are. As you depart from the Greenfield tonight, I extend my warmest congratulations and wishes for a life of true abundance as promised over AUB's main gate in the fullest and broadest sense of that word. Thank you.
Mr. President, recommendations for degrees to be conferred today have already been made by the various faculties and schools of the university. In accordance with established procedures, the candidates who have satisfactorily completed all the requirements and are deemed worthy by the University Senate to be awarded degrees will now be presented to you by the respective deans or directors. President Dorman, I call upon you to confer the degrees.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues in the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call on all the candidates from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences for 2015. Will Mr. Joseph Robert Habib please come to the stage?
Joseph Robert Habib, with high distinction. Candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts: Dian Fuad Abdallah, Nagam Jamin Abdel Ahad, Nay Eli Abdel Noor, Zainab Abdul Aziz, Haya Radi Wael Abdel Hadi, Ghida Abdullah Abdel Satir, Tara Maria Roy Abela, Samah Wasim Abi Ali.
Mabruk. Mr. President, on behalf of the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, may I ask the Director of the Hariri School of Nursing to present candidates of the school.
As the Hariri School of Nursing, will the graduating students of the school please rise? I shall now read to you the text of the nurse's oath known as the Nightingale Pledge, after which you will be asked to accept it by answering I do. Will the faculty members of the Hariri School of Nursing please rise? I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass my life in purity and to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not take or knowingly administer any harmful drug. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession and will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping and all family affairs coming to my knowledge in the practice of my profession. With loyalty will I endeavor to aid the physicians in their work and devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care. Do you so pledge? Will the members of the faculty please be seated? Mr. President, as Director of the Hariri School of Nursing, and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for a degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call upon the candidates from the Hariri School of Nursing to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Hariri School of Nursing for 2015. Will Miss Mireille Mouin Shhadi please come to the stage?
Mireille Mouin Shhadi with high distinction. Carol Sami Abdel Karim with distinction. Ruba Muhammad Ali Abla. Rafat Abu Saleh, thank you. Stéphanie Roger Bekhazi. Nadine Nader El Bizri with distinction. Jad Kamal Boudiab. Mariam Jamal Shatila.
As Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, will the graduating class students of the faculty please rise? I shall now read to you the text of the Engineers and Architects Oath, which I will ask you to accept by answering, I do. Will the faculty members of the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture please rise? Using the heritage left by my professional forebearers, I dedicate myself to the pursuit of knowledge and the search for truth in the extension of benefits of my profession to humanity. I will strive always to disseminate what professional knowledge I acquire, and I will fully accept my responsibility for the instruction of younger members of my profession. Zealous of the high repute of my calling, I will strive to protect the interests and the good name of any member of my profession. To all I pledge integrity and fair dealing, tolerance and respect, and devotion to the standards and dignity of my profession. I gladly accept the obligation to use my special knowledge and expertness to serve humanity with complete sincerity. I will strive faithfully to fulfill the solemn obligations of my profession and to govern my life and practice by its canon of ethic. Do you so pledge? Will the members of the faculty please be seated? Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Architecture, the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts and Graphic Design, the degree of Bachelor of Engineering with majors in Chemical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Computer and Communications Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, and the degree of Bachelor of Science with majors in Chemical Engineering and Construction Engineering.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call upon the candidates from the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Engineering and Architecture for 2015. Will Ms. Mona Osama Talia please come to the stage? Her degree is with distinction.
Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Architecture. Marilyn Pauline Fayez Antaki with distinction. Christina Noor Ghassan Atiyi with distinction. Noor Samir Bitar. Mira Bumatar with distinction. Samer Ahmed Shinder. Laura Alex Fallaha with distinction. Malak Ahmed Farhat. Jana Mahmoud Gharzuddin with distinction. Lara Antoine El Hashim. Caroline Alain Haddad. Ala Adnan Hassan. Ayman Abdullah Jalloul with distinction. Rayyan Raed Jraydini with distinction. Ali Hussein Khudr. Ghalia Shukri Qurban.
As Dean of the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences, will the graduating students of the Nutrition and Dietetics Program and Nutrition and Dietetics Coordinated Program please rise? I shall now read to you the text of the Nutrition and Dietetics Professional Oath, which I will ask you to accept by answering I do. Will the faculty members of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences please rise? As a professional dietitian, nutritionist, I pledge to pursue and promote excellence, practice with integrity, empathy, and ethical conduct, contribute to the health and welfare of members of the community, respect and protect the confidentiality of my clients without discrimination, support the principles and partnerships in the workplace, comply with all the laws and regulations of the dietetics profession, support the advancement and dissemination of evidence-based nutrition knowledge and skills, engage in continuing education to further my professional knowledge and skills and incorporate them in my practice. Do you so pledge? Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture with the Diploma of Engineer Agricole, the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agribusiness, the degree of Bachelor of Science in Food Science and Management, the degree of Bachelor of Landscape Architecture with the Diploma of Engineer Agricole, the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, and the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics Coordinated Program. Will all the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call upon the candidates from the Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences for 2015. Will Ms. Zainab Muhammad Sha'ban please come to the stage?
Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture and Diploma of Engineer Agricole. Shafiq Ghassan Abdallah. Bilal Muhammad Amin Daryan. Muhammad Hussein Hashisho. Aya Haidar Haidar. Marie-Georges David Hatem. Nare Yasayi Havatian with high distinction. Ishaq Khalil Al-Khatib. Noor Tariq Al-Iraq. رويا أحمد مراد with distinction. نور أحمد نجيب نحولي. رومي يوسف نصار.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Health and Bachelor of Science in Medical Laboratory Sciences. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call upon the candidates from the Faculty of Health Sciences to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Health Sciences for 2015. Will Miss Amina Bassam Al-Haraki please come to the stage?
Amina with distinction. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Health. ريم الياس الأعرج. تمارا عامر خليل أرناؤوط. هديل علي برجي. كريستوف إليان الحج. سيرين زياد الحلبي. سارة وليد حرب with distinction. دانا أحمد حلواني with distinction. زينة زين العابدين إسماعيل. كارلا فيكان جاكاريان. سارة جمال قدورة. لما عمر قاطرجي.
Mr. President, as Acting Dean of the Suleiman Alayan School of Business, and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration and welcome you to the Fellowship of Educated Men and Women.
I now call upon the candidates from the Suleiman Alayan School of Business to come to the stage. The first candidate will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Alayan School of Business for 2015. Will Mr. Rayan Hadi Nahas please come to the stage?
Rayan Hadi Nahas with high distinction. Kim George Al-Kadi with distinction. Bahjat Ala Hindi. أمجد محمد عباني. Jonas Mustafa Abbas with distinction. Talia Hassan Abbas. Basel Ali Abdullah with distinction. Celine Saba Abdullah. Zainab Ahmed Abdullah. Hiba Fuad Abdel Baki. جنى وليد عبد الباقي. محمد سعد عبد العزيز.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the distinct pleasure of greeting all of you for the first time and in the shadow of College Hall as alumni of the American University of Beirut. The road you have traveled during your years at AUB has been a demanding one, and you are to be congratulated for having successfully met the academic challenges of the most prestigious university in Lebanon and in the region. Some of you will be going on to careers in Lebanon or overseas. Others will be continuing their education in higher degree programs. Wherever your travels take you, I wish you success in your careers. I wish you also personal joy in your lives and peace and fulfillment in your communities. At this point, I would also like to acknowledge the key role that has been played by your families, your parents, your siblings who have walked this road with you, who have contributed their financial means, and who have given you their love and moral support. Your success is theirs as well, and they are here to celebrate with you. So I would invite you now to turn around and express your appreciation to them for their constancy and devotion. And now we will all sing together the Alma Mater.
I now declare this commencement exercise at a close. Will all student graduates and the audience please remain in their places until the President and party have cleared the area. Mr. President, will you and your party please follow me?
de balada. Quero curtir com você na madrugada.